Let's see if I can get you back in here, Jessie. We made
Hey Sarah,
it.
sorry about that.
Oh, good. Oh, good. All right, Jessie. Let's get into it because I'm really excited to have you here. To be honest, hey, I should say hi. Yep, I'm Sarah from the Support Worker Store. This is Jessie. We've actually been following each other since day dot, which is quite fun, to be honest, because we get to watch each other as our careers and as our companies have grown. So I did a bit of a background look see, and it's been more than 2 years. So
No,
congratulations, we've been
thank
open.
you. No,
Now
thanks for
the
having me,
most
Sarah. I really appreciate it.
don't be silly. We grew together. So the best thing that I would love to talk about today, Jessie, is that we have some really similar stories. And one of the most similar stories that we both got was that we reached a point where we needed to do something a little bit different and get out of our comfort zones. Would you be able to tell the guys what you did previously and how you got into Jessie Care, into Align with Me? Like, can you tell
Yeah,
us
of course.
your timeline? Like, how did it all happen?
Yeah, so I prior to COVID, so like 2020, I was pursuing my career as a teacher and was employed and following the direction of working with children because that was something that was quite huge for me. I always had a great relationship with kids growing up and being a role model, mentoring and I thought that was my career moving forward. I quickly found out I was burnt out. It wasn't for me
Yeah.
essentially, and I guess the change in my career, the direction was that I felt like I needed to have more of an impact in the community. I also have a huge background in basketball that's been a huge part of my life, coaching, playing, semi-professional as well, and yeah, all these familiar faces in my community on the Gold Coast where I sort of want to connect with. So making the transition to NDIS and starting my own business, it was quite seamless in the sense of the
Yeah.
skills that I've already had and being able to apply it, but yeah, that's sort of been my background in the sense of what I came from and what I'm
Yeah.
doing now. It definitely feels more purposeful, and yeah, I haven't looked back ever since.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
So have you been, is it 2 years operational?
Uh, about 2 years, yeah. I've, since the business name, so initially it was just Jessie Support because it was just me. But yeah, we
Yeah.
have moved over to Align with You Supports.
Yeah.
So yeah, about 2 years under the business through my ABN, and then prior to that, I did a little bit of support work before that as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Any regrets?
absolutely none. Absolutely
Good.
none.
Yeah.
I think that I've grown so much as a person. I think about myself if I was in any other career, how I would be
Yeah.
as an individual now. The skills and I guess the boundaries. With all these keywords I'm bringing up right now, it's sort of yeah, it's been quite inspiring for myself, I guess. Where
Yeah.
I've been able to develop as a person. So as much as I can help people, they've helped me so
Yeah.
much along the way. Whether
Yeah.
it's mentors, participants, sport coordinators, allied health professionals, like yeah, I haven't looked back at all.
Now you said that you had a name change. So you were just Jessie and
Yep.
now you're
Aligned with you supports.
yeah.
So, yeah, the reason for the name change, well, aligned was a key word of mine that I have been saying quite repetitively to my friends and family and other people that I've just, yap away and talk to. And I wanted to incorporate that. So, yeah, just Jesse support was, yeah, just me, quite self explanatory. And then
Yeah.
aligned with you supports. Well, I always think back to with participants with psychosocial disabilities, that's who we
Yeah.
work with predominantly, um, I always think about the alignment. So whether it's our support or our service that we provide, um, as long as it is aligned in the sense of their goals, our relationship that we develop, the communication, how they feel at the end of the day, and the
Yeah.
feedback that we get, we I can sort of gauge that at the start with a meet and greet as well.
Yeah.
And as was spoken about before, if I meet someone that they're wanting to engage in our services, but the feedback is they're not really feeling like we're aligned with them,
Yeah.
or they're not aligned with us, then I think that's awesome because they've been able to make that decision shortly after the meet and
Yeah.
greet, and that's what it's about. It's choice of control. I would
Yeah.
be more than happy for a participant to be like, hey, look, appreciate our meet and greet. Just don't think it's going to work out.
Yep.
I'd rather that than them being able to feel like they're pressured or that they have to,
Yeah.
receive support from us at the end of the
I
day, because that's not the way it should be.
I, we have talked about this before. I reckon it's with the meet and greet. It's the first 5 minutes whether I figure out whether I can provide really good supports or I can't. And if I can't, I always have referred. And I
Yeah,
just think that's the best thing moving forward for everyone instead of just wasting people's time. It's already
absolutely.
time poor. Like people are already
Yeah,
time poor and they don't need that crap.
yeah,
So with all that, so with all the changes, it means that you have to grow because it's not just you
mm,
anymore. How has the transition been from being an independent support worker, which was just you, to moving into having a company where you had to hire
yeah.
people?
It's a little bit nerve wracking. There's
Yeah,
more responsibilities. Obviously, like the administration side of things, pays. Um, Ensuring that they have their timesheets and shift notes organized for me as well. I think the communication really expands so much more
yeah,
now. Being able to do debriefs as well and professional development. It's I wouldn't say it's been seamless, but I I'm for the challenge.
yeah,
I really feel like I'm relishing in it in the sense of
yeah,
throw me in the deep end and I'll do it and I'll try and get it done.
yeah,
If I make a mistake, cool. That's what it's all about. So yeah, I'm
yeah.
loving it so far. Yeah, it's been good.
It literally is you make a mistake and just quickly fix it, and then as it evolves as time progresses. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
so as you're going along, can you tell me about as you're building your team and all that stuff? What is a win that you have supported someone to have? And when I say a win, like an NDIS participant,
Mm.
what has happened within services that you provided, and you saw somebody really, just kicking ass?
Yeah, yeah. So while I was just under Just Jesse support, I did have this one participant, and autism was his primary disability. However, he was also homeless as well. So he had been removed from his house, and he was camping in different camping sites, caravan parks, and he he struggled a lot with being able to grasp, I guess, his independence moving forward and what would look like.
Yep.
Very smart individual. I that Some of the things that he taught me as well was quite impressive. This guy could pick apart a Toyota Corolla and put it back together again. He could
Yep.
pick apart. He would always, prior to his living situation, he had a computer, desktop computer, and he would order it and put it up together. Like he would literally build these things.
Yep.
So definitely a really smart individual, very complex, but in the sense that he could do so much with his skills. And so I came in. Provide a bit more mentorship. Obviously, the getting around the community, transport appointments, and
Yep.
giving him a bit of guidance because we were actually the same age as well.
Yeah.
So the transition was to find emergency accommodation, transition him into that, and then employment as well, and then his was able to achieve that. So which was amazing. I think the employment was really able to that stepping stone moving forward. And then now he's doing some tertiary education,
Yep.
which is amazing. To go from not even having a roof over your head,
Yep.
just a tent and a
Yep.
swag, to being in an amazing degree of engineering is fantastic. Like I'm quite inspired myself by what he has been able to achieve, and that's probably stretched over 2.5 years. So
Yep.
yeah, that's probably my biggest win that I kind of hold on to. Actually
Yep.
now, sorry, I know I'm
Yep.
going
No,
yapping on a
go
little bit now, but
go for it.
he's now I guess you say graduated from the NDIS, so he's no longer on it anymore. He actually doesn't need those
Yep.
services now, and I
Yep.
think that's what it's about. Obviously some participants need NDIS, and then that's great. But for him, he was able to, he stands on his own 2 feet now. He's able to support himself, and
Yep.
that's like my biggest win that I've been able to witness. So yeah,
Do you know what I love about this story, to be honest with you? Because it is progression. Because a lot of people, when I've been speaking to support workers, it's just the same that on a Tuesday we always do grocery shopping and that be it. But it's actually a bit more than that. And it can
yeah,
expand itself because it's more than just grocery shopping. It might be the next stage of doing it independently. It might be to the point that we go to our local community centres, see what's up, what things that we can engage in. And I think that's what I like most about the story that you
yeah,
like, not story, but what's happened,
Yeah.
because you've shown that somebody has been able to progress from something, some small supports, and build themselves up to the fact that they don't need anyone. I mean, that was the aim of the NDIS to begin with
Yeah.
when it first came out, was that to build people up to a point that they can be as independent as possible. So your story is
Yeah.
beautiful. Like, thank you.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Yeah. I think that's something that keeps me going as well, especially those days when I'm burnt
Yeah.
out.
Yep.
Was it like, why do I do this? And why do we do this? That's the
Yeah.
sort of the reasons there.
Yep. I think we can all agree at one point with this, we've all been burnt out at one point. And it's knowing the signs. For me, it was that I was so tired, and you could just see it. I remember my partner going, Sarah, you are tired. Like, you need to change things up. Were there any signs that you had, like that was your burnout sign that made you need to shift things or move things along to
Yeah.
get into support?
Yeah. Burnout's quite funny. Something that I probably have felt consistently in my life, but only recognized through this work.
Yeah.
I'd say last year, I went on a holiday to Japan, and which was amazing. And I still came back feeling like I can't really pinpoint what the feeling was, but it was almost I didn't have that time for myself. That self care was definitely lacking.
Yeah.
I just kept feeling exhausted. I wasn't feeling the passion to be able to follow other parts of my life. I'm not just a
Yeah.
support worker or service provider. There's so much others to me, other things to me as well. So I felt
Yeah.
like it was stretching in my personal life as well. So yeah, I think I lost that little spark of myself a little bit, and working upwards of 40 plus hours, that'll do it
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
I recognize some personal things about me of being a people pleaser, and trying to attend to everything and not having these
Yeah.
personal work boundaries. Um, that was sort of the thing that kind of like was yelling at me
Yeah.
that, hey, I am burnt out and I need to do something about it.
I remember for me, I associated work as my identity, and that's
Mm,
probably where I stuffed it up, where I thought it was my absolute everything. I think it's just I've got an addictive nature, and work became my addiction to the point that it was unhealthy.
yeah,
Like, I understand all of that type of stuff.
yeah,
But the good thing also, when you're able to pick that, you've also, I don't know about you, but I've had some really good mentors in my life
mm,
that's been able to pick things up, and I can have these chats and have these conversations. Have you yourself had any like mentors that you could talk about, or like that have helped you with your business, or even just you
yeah,
personally?
yeah, definitely. Most definitely, there's one name that comes to mind. His name's Dale. If he's watching or he does get to see this, huge shout out to him because he
Hi,
has been
Dale.
instrumental in what I've been able to do. And he'll always say it's all been you, and it's mate,
Yep.
it's like this is all you. Like, but he has been phenomenal. I couldn't be more grateful for him, and he's a friend as well.
Yep.
So like, this is someone that I'll be in contact with for a long time in my life, and yeah, I think he really what he gave me the most was um, I guess, owning myself as a support worker, like
Yep.
who I am, my identity, what service do I provide, whether it's really niche or broad, and then also having those professional boundaries too.
Yep.
He really built that confidence in me, and that really got me kick-started. And then I think what he really tied into all that is utilizing my lived
Yep.
experience to my work. So, yeah, he's great. We're similar in some ways,
Yep.
but in other ways he challenges me a lot. So yeah, I
So
think.
where did you find him? Like, because mentors just don't pop up out of anywhere. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
how'd you
So
find him?
I had a participant about three and a bit years ago, who I was just his support worker. He didn't have a sport coordinator, didn't really have any allied health professionals. I think he may have had a psych, and that was about it. And anyway, Dale was coming in as a sport coordinator. They're doing a meet and greet. Anyway, I feel like this meet and greet then turned into him and I rather than him and the participant. Like, he did what he did, and it was great. And
Yep.
I don't think it was going to work out for anyone with this participant at the end of the day.
Yep.
But him and I got the opportunity to meet, and he was like, oh, Jesse, I really vibed with you. We had a really good connection. I want to connect with work. Let's start from there. He has been on the Gold Coast doing a lot of work for numerous years, probably 15 plus years, and working for different companies and
Yep.
yeah, we started from there. So it was obviously a coincidence and an awesome coincidence, but yeah, that's how it started.
That's fantastic. I do like that. For me, like they come, like, my mentors have come into different places and different spots at time when I needed certain areas that needed a bit of assistance with.
Yeah.
Now, with the company, and you've grown yourself, you built it. What's next? Like, what are you guys up to? Because I love this stuff.
Yeah,
Like, what are you going to do next?
yeah. Oh well, I mean, I think a foundation for any company, and how I envision it is to have a good um, foundation of culture.
Yep,
So I really like to instill that they're not just employees or subcontracted people. They're guys that we're growing together. This is
yep,
not just for my benefit. I feel like there's a lot of providers out there. No knock on them because they're large providers, but you
yep,
can lose touch of what your
yeah,
ideology is, and I think it's quite sad in the sense that what's this all for? At the end of the day, it's for our participants.
yep,
So I guess the goal is to build that sort of community within this business and
yep,
branch out there with a few numbers. I don't want it to be too big where it's something where I lose touch and it's
yeah,
grown so much where I'm not able to connect with not only the participants but also the workers as well. But yeah, I think just keeping that consistency, making sure that I cross my T's, dot my I's, and
yep,
then in a couple of months' time, especially with all the changes with the NDIS, and I think that registration will be the next step for us, stepping stone. So it's
yep.
something I've always wanted to tick off, but I have also wanted to give myself the time to be able to not skip those steps and actually learn
Yep.
rather than just jumping straight into it.
Yep. Yeah, there's plenty of people that you can use to register and all that stuff, and I can see you going down that path as you grow and you develop. Is there any, so at this point in time, it's more one-to-ones, in-home support? Is there any groups or seals? Like, is there any of that on the horizon for
Yeah,
you guys?
it's mainly just one to one. I do have a few households of families where there's two or three participants, like
Yep,
brothers and sisters, and but it's mainly that and a little bit of online with individual life skills. And
yep,
there's a few participants that are outside the state of Queensland as well that I
yep,
have conversations with. STAs, other service that we provide too, and yeah, but predominantly employment services, community, sorry, community access, and then also assistance with daily living as well. So yeah, a
yep.
lot of in-house and out in the community too.
So I always get asked this question: how did you find the people that you serve? Like, was it from word of mouth? Was it through internet? Like, how did they come to you? Like, how did they find you, Jessie?
So I guess having that connection with my basketball community. So I play basketball at North Gold Coast Seahawks up in Coomera, and there were a lot of families there. So I'm coming across a lot of children. So kind of started from there a little bit, but then predominantly going on Facebook groups,
Yeah,
being able to just add myself to all of them. And I think the best part about those groups as well, rather other than
yeah,
advertising yourself, was also learning as well. There's a lot of posts out there that you get to learn about the changes and
yeah,
what's right, what's wrong, opinions on different situations. Yeah, and I think it's
yeah,
awesome. It's a nice forum to be able to read as well.
yeah,
But yeah, most of the participants came through Facebook, and then yeah, just the people that I connected with, even Dale as well, like
yeah,
support coordinators. My old housemate last year, he's a support coordinator as well, and he's
yeah,
moved out to Toowoomba, and we still talk it like most days, and just little ways like that.
yeah.
But definitely the Facebook group started from there.
So how have you been able to retain the participants that you got? Because I get asked this question quite a bit
Mm.
as well.
Yeah. Um, I guess professionalism does go a long way. I have seen some support workers, and look, each to their own. Whatever they want to do, they rock up. Whatever they're wearing or however they present themselves, that's fine. They're on their own journey. I definitely, when I first started, had a lot different to where I am today. But I think professionalism, like, I make sure that, my points of contact and my communication is there. I'm engaging with the families. I'm always planning ahead, trying to make sure that, there's a person-centered approach, a participant-centered approach, and retaining them. I guess it's that relationship that you build.
Yeah,
You like. I guess I remember you actually mentioning. I think it may have been last year. You made a post about how do you get participants, and actually putting the work into those participants is actually a way of being able to. They're a vehicle of word of mouth as well. Although we're
yeah,
not, having the purpose of, hey, I might get more participants if we go through them, and
no,
I say this and I provide the
yeah,
service. That just comes along with it. If you put in like an amazing service, an amazing product of, connecting with this participant and achieving their
yeah.
goals and doing amazing things, it speaks for itself. Word of mouth, it goes a long way.
Yep. I have this theory that Facebook ads and Instagram ads in this sector don't work.
Yeah,
It is always have been and always will be word of
I'm
mouth. And it
yeah,
is about the quality that you put in, and
yeah,
to retain that is being consistent
yeah,
with the quality. I
most
100%
definitely.
get all
Yeah,
that. So,
yeah.
oh, hold on. I did have one question for you. So, doing all this, what advice would you give to anybody wanting to enter this sector as a
Mm.
support worker, or those that are watching that are really hungry and want to build their own company? What advice would you give them?
Um, yeah, it's a great question because yeah, this is something that I've faced with quite a lot with people asking me, friends or people I come across in the community. I would say most definitely don't skip steps.
Yeah,
Although the space of being able to be a support worker or being an NDIS provider, you can just jump straight into it and go for gold. But you're actually looking after these participants. It's their life that you have, and although it's not a life or death matter, but in some cases it can be. So you're going to be
yeah,
really cautious of who you're dealing
yeah,
with, why you're doing this work, and how you're going to go about it. So for
yeah,
me as well, although I've done some prior study, one of the things, and I would always tell anyone if they want to do this, go straight to, well, Queensland TAFE have to have on offer. I look at it right now, my certificate right here.
yeah,
There's a certificate for mental health that I recently graduated in just before the end of the year. Um, Honestly, there was a lot of stuff there that was great and some knowledge that I know and that a lot of people may already know, but it really honed
yeah,
those skills. So I think that actually getting yourself educated while you're doing the work as well and learning is definitely most
yeah.
valuable. Like I think that would probably be the first step. And it's free as well. So why not?
Yes, yes, it is free, and it's free in most states all around Australia. So the
Yeah,
idea that we're
that's
not
awesome.
doing it, I find really crazy. I do get a lot of people that slide in, like, how do I start my journey? And my first spot is always an education to
Yeah.
learn these things, because you can learn things on the job,
Yeah.
but because of the range of disabilities that we serve, it's really hard to narrow it down. So they are tools on the
Yeah.
job, learning from them. All right. So pretty much all I've got now is if anyone's got any questions in the chat, please put them here. I'm happy to ask Jessie what's happening next, what we're going to look forward to. In the meantime, Jessie, have you got any questions?
Um, no, but I mean, I guess what I would always also say, just backing on to what you were saying about advice to give support workers, I think, yeah, definitely going onto the support worker store would be some advice I would give. Yeah, it's a good introduction to be able to understand what this is about. There are definitely some ways of being a support worker or NDIS
Yeah.
provider that are some big no-nos. But some things like professional boundaries, which I didn't, I had almost
Oh,
next to none when I first started. I didn't
yeah.
know. I didn't know any better. And, there would be some things I would do differently next time. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I really feel like you've covered a lot there. So, um,
Well, with professional boundaries, that we're on the topic, it is so easy to do, and I think it's because that us as people that we are, we're empathetic, so we want to please people. I
mm,
get all that. Like I understand the reasons why we do that. We do. Um, I've got one. You're the best takeaways, the highlights from mental health courses you completed. Great chat, guys. Thanks, Ocean. Yeah, you know what? That's one part we haven't really touched on, to be honest with you, Jesse, because you do a lot in the mental health space, but also the
yes,
disability space. They're two different courses. Mental health, disability
yes,
supports, completely different, but just as important as each
yeah.
other. Can you give us anything, like any tips? Like if I was a new support worker going in to support somebody with complex mental health,
Mm.
what tips would you give a support worker?
Well, I mean, even in a meet and greet as well, I guess it's more so hearing them. Um, their lived experience is they're an expert in their life. I don't know any better than
Yeah,
them from what they've been through. So when I meet someone that has been through X, Y, and Z, I'm all ears. Like I'm actually learning off you. I'm trying to understand and come from a position that I
yeah,
haven't been through what you've been through. So I'm more than happy to hear what's going on and I guess expanding from that, I apply my lived experience as well and what I've been through. But I definitely think that actually hearing their story first and
yeah.
foremost, lived experience was something that through the TAFE course that we really learned about that was quite pivotal in providing support.
I can see that I've been asked. allied health assistant, would they be able to branch into support work? You can branch into support work as an allied health assistant. I get where you're going with this. You can, but I would still always recommend to do your certs in disability or mental health. If you want to do one, or you can do a double, you can even go even further and do your advanced diploma. The world really is your oyster. It is a sector that you can move up in, but I would definitely say wherever possible, go get your hands dirty, learn as much as possible. So sorry, Jessie. I
No,
just
you're
saw the
good.
comment and I wanted to be really clear that, education is key. I know for you, you have a teaching background. For me, I've done my disability cert 4 in disability, my advanced diploma in community sector management and disability. And I did that because I wanted to grow, and I love learning, to be honest. And you touched on something before that I really want to talk about. I have learned more from the people that we serve than I could at TAFE. So I did learn what I could, like the bare basics of what TAFE is, but the hands-on job part is what I learned. Like I was explaining to someone the other day, these skill sets that I can take anywhere, and it translate to all different parts of
Yeah.
life. Like I know how to de-escalate a situation if it turns pear-shaped.
Yep.
Like where else can you learn skills like that?
Yeah, you kind of do have to get thrown in there straight away, don't you?
Yep.
And yeah, I guess it's about, managing that risk factor as well.
Yep.
There's little things that I work with, even with some kids that I work with intellectual disabilities or ASD, nonverbal as well. I think one thing I've always picked up has been like always scanning my environment. This goes back to like the
Yep.
danger of going into support work. Like, a lot of us, we may, oh, yep, they just see a support worker walking their participant down the road to a chemist or cafe
Yep.
or wherever, but they may actually be doing particular things like, walking in between them. Like they might be walking right beside the road with the participant on the other side because they may, be directionally challenged, or,
Yep.
have some physical impairment of some kind, you know, or holding their hand across the road, like little things like that. It's those little moments where there's so many risks going around for
Yep.
these participants, which why they're on the NDIS in the first place.
Yep.
So ensuring that
But
you're covering those
it's
things.
risk and opportunity for skill building. And
Yeah,
I dare say, with a teacher background as yourself, that you're always looking to skill build people wherever
yeah,
possible
yeah,
to make sure that eventually they can, like this person in particular, could walk independently to the
yeah.
shops, but it just takes time.
It does. It really
Yep.
does. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I think that's all I had for you, Jessica. You've answered all my questions. If anybody else has got any questions, please put it in the chat. You're an absolute delight to watch,
Thank you,
Jesse. I've
Sarah.
really
No,
enjoyed it. I think it's
thank
I know I say this a lot, but I am a fangirl because I've been able to see the beginning of your company to now where it is now, and it's exciting. And maybe I'm
yeah.
just a cheerleader. I never won that jumper though, but I will get there.
No, I really appreciate that. Like, it does mean a lot. It's kind of pushes me to keep going, to keep doing what I'm doing, and
Yep.
yeah, no, yeah. As you said the other day, you're one of the OGs.
Original. Yeah. So if people wanted to get in touch with you, Jesse, what's the best way possible to get in touch with you?
Well, formally through our email or mobile number, which is on our Instagram page as well. But yeah,
Yep.
our email and mobile number would be the best.
Yep.
But even through Instagram as well, through the DMs, we've had a few people who contact us through that too. So that would be
Yep.
that's we're not shy of that as well. So there's a few different avenues to be able to contact us. But yeah, so email, mobile number, and yeah, just through the
Yep.
Instagram too.
Have you got capacity to take on any more new NDIS participants or staffing within your area?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we do stretch from as north as Northern Rivers, Tweed Heads in New South Wales, all the way up to Brisbane as well. So
I have
yeah,
no idea where that is. It sounds really like you're near a beach.
yes, yeah, it is. Yeah, so Northern Rivers is quite beautiful up northern New South Wales. I do
Or a
love.
river.
Yeah. Well, the Tweed River, I can explain it to you, but you might have to just get the maps up and have a look. But
Yeah.
yeah, all the way up to Brisbane City. So we do stretch quite far. I'm quite central to all of that. So, but yeah, it's we do have capacity to be able to take on more. So,
Beautiful.
absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this live tonight. I've had an absolute joy. Can't wait to follow more.
No worries.
Watch this
I really appreciate
space.
it, Sarah. Thank you so much for
All
having
right.
me.
See you, Jesse. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.